When you thought that everything would settle down after Ricciardo announced to stop at McLaren at the end of 2022, you were wrong. Autosport.com mentions that there are some exciting drivers' changes about to happen. Otmar Szafnauer, team boss of Alpine, revealed during a press conference at the Belgian Grand Prix that Piastri was excited and happy when he was informed of his Alpine seat next year. In an interview with Motorsport.com, he said, "I have told Piastri about next year before we announced the big news. He was in the simulator at that moment, so I looked him up there. He was smiling and was appreciative. We signed a contract with him last November, so his tweet came as a big surprise." According to Piastri's tweet on the 1st of August, he never signed a contract for next year. Pretty soon after his tweet, Oscar was linked to McLaren. This was further fueled on the 8th of August when Auto Hebdo said that the FIA Contract Recognition Board, CRB, declared both Piastri's contracts valid after McLaren lawyers asked for clarification. Ever since the first CRB ruling, it seems that more confusion and tension was created. However, now that Ricciardo officially cleared the path for Piastri next season, only Oscar's Alpine contract can prevent him from driving for McLaren in 2023. There is no denying that Piastri and Mark Webber, his manager, plays a game of high risk, something that Jacques Villeneuve even describes at Reuters as a dangerous game. It isn't easy to start off your career with such pressure. It's going to be interesting to see because it surprised everyone so much. It also raises questions around your name. Teams and sponsors who want to sign a deal will always wonder how they are going to be treated. There are so many drivers who proved to be extremely good in other racing classes, but who couldn't impress in F1. It is a big step forwards. We don't know how he will do in F1. It remains the big question. Although Szafnauer revealed that he still wants to work with Piastri, he is also already in contact with other drivers to possibly replace him. Daniel Ricciardo has frequently been named to move back to Alpine, but his wages and current disappointing run at McLaren make Alpine's management doubt. Yet Autosport.com just revealed that Alpine is looking at Gasly to replace Piastri, and that Schumacher and Colton Herta are linked to Alpha Tauri. The only problem is that Gasly just signed a new contract with Alpha Tauri till the end of 2023, and that it is known that Red Bull isn't keen on letting Pierre go. So, under what conditions can Gasly go to Alpine? What did Helmut Marko say about Gasly's contract status? Would Gasly be a better option for Alpine than Daniel Ricciardo? And who should Alpha Tauri sign up? Let's find out. McLaren takes a big gamble with Piastri, but before they can welcome him at their factory in Woking, they first need to get clearance from the FIA. Insiders close to Motorsport.com said that the CRB is coming together to decide whether Alpine was fast enough activating the contract clause or if Piastri is free to go. There are strong rumors that Alpine has a good chance of winning this case and that Piastri can be forced to drive for the French team next year. Yet, Alpine is also aware that having a Plan C is not a bad idea after they failed to extend Alonso's contract and potentially losing out on his replacement driver. Pierre Gasly has been driving in F1 since 2017, when joining Toro Rosso and replacing Daniil Kvyat mid-season. His first point finish came a year later at the Grand Prix of Bahrain, where he managed to finish fourth. Pierre regularly showed his talent and secured 4 more point finishes that year. His results even led to a promotion to Red Bull to replace Ricciardo in 2019. However, overeagerness left him to perform poorly in the first half of the season compared to his teammate Verstappen, and eventually he was replaced by Albon in Spa later that year. Marko said about Gasly's time at Red Bull, "He was too eager and tried different setups than Verstappen, although we advised him against it. But we have a good relationship. He is a team leader and has managed good success at Alpha Tauri the last couple years." Back in June, Gasly extended his Red Bull contract for another year, as at that moment there weren't a lot of other competitive seats available. Although Pierre has repeatedly said that he doesn't want to drive for Alpha Tauri for many more years, there were no alternatives at the time. Gasly said about his contract extension, "I have been with this team for 5 years now, and I am proud of the journey we've been through together and the progress we have made. I'm happy to remain with my Scuderia Alpha Tauri team next season. This year's new regulations have created new challenges for us, and being able to plan our development with the team for the next 18 months is a good working basis for the future." It now seems that those 18 months are now reduced to just a couple months. Autosport.com revealed that Alpine has contacted Red Bull to see how they can make a Gasly move work. But what does Red Bull think about a potential move? Early August, Helmut Marko was firm in his statement about the French driver. There is no exit clause for Gasly. There wasn't any before the summer break, and there won't be any after the summer break. But it now seems that they loosen up to the idea of Pierre moving to Alpine. A lend-out contract of 1 year would satisfy Gasly's wishes, while Red Bull would still keep the Frenchman part of the Red Bull family. Both Marko and Horner see Gasly bringing in consistent results and see a future Red Bull driver in him again. It was mentally tough for the French driver to overcome his demotion back to the sister team Toro Rosso, especially after his good friend Hubert passed away during the F2 race, which was also the first weekend since Gasly got demoted. Despite all this, he has shown to be able to overcome many obstacles and be a team leader. Besides his great talent, 2 French drivers at a French team can also be a great marketing tool. However, moving to Alpine would leave a spot available at Alpha Tauri. Helmut Marko recently said that Ricciardo is no option as he is no junior driver anymore. Both Schumacher and Colton Herta are seen as 2 talented drivers who it seems are up in the running for the Alpha Tauri seat. Insiders say that the Austrian advisor was spotted talking to Zach Brown, possibly about Herta's contract status. But what do we know of Herta? Colton is a 22-year-old American driver who made his debut in the last race of IndyCars in 2018 at Harding Racing. Ever since, he has won 7 races and currently ranks 10th in the overall standings. Despite his current low ranking, he is still seen as a talented driver. Herta recently tested the McLaren MCL 35 in July of this year. Apparently, he has shown great pace in both the test and simulator sessions at McLaren for Helmut Marko to consider him at Alpha Tauri next year. The last time an American driver drove an F1 was Alexander Rossi in 2015. Red Bull also sees a great marketing tool by signing on an American driver, especially when the sport sees 3 American Grand Prix next year, as well as the enormous growth the sport goes through in the US. On the other hand, there is Mick Schumacher, son of legendary driver Michael Schumacher. The German driver is known for needing time to adapt, but is ever more showing a steady increase in pace every weekend. Although he is currently behind his teammate in the standings, he starts to out-qualify and outrace his teammate Kevin Magnussen more frequently. Signing on Schumacher could be great to help the German develop himself even further as a driver, while also using his enormous popularity among fans for many marketing purposes. However, these driver movements are only possible if Piastri officially moves to McLaren, which we should know soon. The FIA Contract Recognition Board is set to determine whether Alpine has a legitimate claim to Piastri's driving services by Monday, the 29th of August. If so, then Alpine can decide to work together with him and otherwise claim Oscar for all their investments made. In the same interview with Motorsport.com, Otmar refers to a situation in the past. I have been through something similar with Jenson Button when he already signed a contract with Williams, but Bar Honda activated a clause in his contract. Bar Honda won the case at the CRB. Eventually, we had a great relationship with Jenson, which resulted in winning the driver's title in 2009. He also responded to the 31st of July clause. That deadline is fictive. That is the only thing I want to say about the contract. There is much more in there, but I don't like to talk about contract details. It seems that Alpine learned from the Alonso Piastri situation and that they now have a plan C in case something goes wrong again. However, a situation where Oscar still ends up at Alpine can be disastrous to Gasly's own plans. But in that case, McLaren might want to opt the option to lend Pierre from Red Bull. Do you think Gasly will go to Alpine? Who do you think will end up at Alpha Tauri? Let me know in the comments section below.